Hey there YouTubers, it's the Drone Pilot Expert, just here to talk about my Walkera 250 and where I'm at in the setup. Basically I've had it about 7 days now since I got it in the mail, and I think I'm pretty comfortable with the way I have it set up now. I've probably flown it maybe 5 times and finally got all the weight dialed in, the center of gravity, and mounting the GoPro, dealing with the battery and the noise filter from this Fat Shark video transmitter. So, and as you can see from my first Walkera 250 video, basically it was how to install a teleporter V3 video transmitter in the goggle system on the Walkera, because it's not the same size or dimensions as the original. So I'll kind of just touch on that a little bit also. So as we can see, I got the GoPro mounted really good. I did try to use super glue. I tried to use double-sided tape, and I think I used some other things, but we'll just keep it simple. All of them failed. The only one that seemed to work well is taking off this top part. So as you can see, this is actually 2 pieces here that floats on four rubber grommets. And so basically we're just gonna lift up these grommets, and you can push them through the holes, and you can remove this whole top carbon fiber piece. And on that piece is 3 mounting holes that are the size of really small screws, but you can get some wide thread wood type screws that I guess they would look like. And I actually just put those up from the bottom underneath, so you can see 2 of them right there, and just screwed into the tripod mount. So I did try to use, since this tripod mount from GoPro does have a large screw hole, you can probably see it right there underneath. I did try to mount the GoPro using a large screw under there, but the screw actually ended up tapping the bottom portion, so that the top plate would actually hit the bottom plate when it was shifting. So it was really nice just to use the already pre-drilled holes. The GoPro mount doesn't quite fit the diameter with the triangular screw hole pattern that they put, so I did drill 2 of my own holes through this top plate, but they did work perfect. So I just used a real small drill bit, just blew 2 holes through this top plate, and then put 2 screws at the back. So I put 1 screw up here in front, and then 2 screws up through the back side. So, and that mounts really well now. But the issue is, and I think they don't really talk about too much, is the change in the center of gravity once you put the GoPro on. So if you'll notice, they actually have some grab mounts right here on this top plate. It's probably hard to see, but right here there's a little outcropping, and there's one on each side. So, and that's where you'd actually grab the Walkera before you take flight, and you can see how the center of gravity is. So let's take the battery out, and then with the GoPro on the front, let's check the center of gravity. So you can see how it tilts and how much weight this GoPro puts on the front of the drone. And when your center of gravity is off like that, it makes the gyros freak out, and so your front propellers will actually increase in thrust as it tries to adjust for the center of gravity, and it'll do that without even moving. Once you try to take off initially, the thrust will kick in because it's all out of balance. It's almost tricking it into thinking there's heavy wind because there's all this down pressure on the front, and it'll actually do things like flip over. So you really want to make sure that you get this battery in well. And I had mounted the noise filter on the bottom right at the back of the plate. And as I said in my first video, this connector for the noise filter is really short. And so the battery typically without the GoPro is really nice forward, really far forward. But once you stick the GoPro on, now you got to shift the battery way back to make it fit, to make the center of gravity correct. So the battery almost hangs off of the mount. So you can see that we have like a Velcro strap that comes from Walkera, and the Velcro strap, there's a beveled area on this bottom plate. Let's see if we can see that. Move this propeller out of the way here. So we have this beveled area here. It's only this wide, and that's where this Velcro strap has to stay in. It's got to stay in that beveled area if you want it mounted correctly. And so to get the center of gravity correct, See, so that's pretty level. Look at where the battery is in the strap. The battery is literally almost out of the strap, and that's pretty scary. So that's kind of something I don't like. I'm totally willing to deal with it. And just to get it to even be this good, I actually added weights to the battery, which is probably retarded. So if you see here, I put some duct tape on this thing, and under here I put 2 windshield rear view mirror brackets. So they're just 2 like round lead metal pieces, and I added some rear weight to this battery, so that way when I stick the battery in, the weight is all the way to the rear, and it's helping alleviate all of the weight in the front from the GoPro. And that seems to work pretty well. So I know out of everything I did, this would definitely be the most Jimmy rigged part of it, which is unfortunate. I don't like that. I need to go out and get some electrical tape. It'll look a little better, but I do like how strong the duct tape is to keep those weights in there. So, but besides that, everything came out seemingly well. I did mount the video transmitter in this fashion. I was bummed out I had to put it above the receiver, which I don't like. If you look underneath, the receiver's right here. And so I had to mount the Fat Shark video transmitter almost on top of the receiver. So, but that's the best place for this antenna, this type of antenna. If you turn this video transmitter around, you're going to put the antenna right next to the propellers, and you don't want that to happen. I mean, essentially this thing could even tilt down and just barely is in the way of this propeller way out here, so it's got to fall all the way over, and it doesn't really move when I'm flying. I've never had that antenna move or you know, go down to the side, so it seems to be nice and stiff. Besides that, so also with that problem of moving the battery back so far, this mount I had put with Velcro of this noise filter is basically no good now. So I need to remove this Velcro, and I'll actually be putting it on the bottom of the battery. So on the bottom of the battery, I'm going to put a piece of Velcro here. So that way when I mount the battery in, this noise filter is actually going to be way back here on the battery. And that noise filter is coming from the Fat Shark video transmitter. So here's the plug right here, and I ran the wire underneath up in front of the battery here and then underneath the frame. So, and that's where I'll be mounting that, and that accepts the second plug, and then the battery plug still reaches all right with the battery moved back that far. But once you do that, the center of gravity is pretty good. I would say it's definitely like driving a flying brick almost. I mean, it's very agile and responsive. It has tons of thrust and can accelerate fast, especially upwards. But you're definitely going to need to be an experienced flyer if you want to try to fly this one. I have experience flying the Inspire 1 from DJI. I mean, the package for that basically started around $3,500 for what we got, and it goes up even more because we bought extra components. And just flying that is a heart attack in itself just because of the price of the drone. I mean, if you crash it, that's a lot of money. So I would say that this is even more scary than flying that drone. I mean, even with the DJI Inspire, when the arms go up and the gimbal's all the way exposed, and you know if you hit the ground you're going to break the $1,000 camera. I mean, even that is less nerve-wracking than flying this thing, and that's just because this thing isn't really staying in the GPS coordinate, so you're going to get some drift. I mean, if you're going really fast and you don't aggressively give it some reverse thrust and get yourself to stop, it's going to keep drifting off. So it's no wonder to me that when I search around YouTube, I see so many people crashing this specific model itself. So, and it's not that I think this model is bad. I mean, I come from auto racing, and that's what's going to happen when a regular driver tries to get in a race car. A race car is very aggressive, but at the same time, like a NASCAR is like driving a brick. It's very hard. You got to be experienced and really be in tune with the feel of the vehicle that you're flying. But this Walkera 250, I mean, once I put the goggles on and I start flying, I have no problem flying this drone at all. It's extremely easy, especially with the thrust. I mean, it's going to get you out of any situation. You do get a little bit of speed wobbles when you're up in the air sometimes, but I find I'm only getting that when I'm trying to decrease throttle and drop really fast. So it may be better just to be in an advanced mode and point it downward, and still have some thrust from the propellers going on, so you don't quite get that wobble. But And also I did set the propeller trim up to 6%. So I did make the switch up here be a throttle hold, so when I do activate the drone propellers or the drone motors, I have throttle hold on so they're not accelerating. When I turn throttle hold off, I have it set to go up to 6% trim, and then the propellers spin at the very bottom of the trim. I mean, this is just right when they come on from trimming up all the way, and that way it definitely keeps you from getting that flip of death. I haven't had any problems with that. And with this added GoPro weight and the added weight on the battery, it doesn't have a lot of trouble competing against that thrust. It actually will come down to the ground. So, but this is definitely a drone. I mean, it's not going to be easy takeoff. Like, hey, I'm just going to, you know, slowly take off and just kind of and putt around. I mean, this is an aggressive drone. I can see that it was meant for type of racing. Maybe it's not racing caliber like what the professional guys have out there, but that's what it's designed to be. I mean, you need to take off and you need to go. There's no fooling around. You need to just execute your flight plan and just get it done. So, but I love it. I mean, it's really fast, has no problem in the wind, and I actually like flying it a lot more than the DJI Inspire. But we're not talking about long range flights. So, and that's it, friends. If you have any questions, just post them down in the comments, and I'll post another video. So thanks for watching.